Alright folks, quick video here to discuss our pole mount situation. As suggested by one of you, that we do a video on, I'm not going to phrase it the way he did, because I like a more positive look on things. But as you all are aware, we had the storm come through, and we'll go down there and look at that one here in a little bit. And every one of my pole mounts, all three of them, came down. And some would say, well, there's something you did wrong. Well, it's not exactly the case there, my friends. When I was running my solar installation company, I did a lot of pole mounts, and I worked with a structural engineer to come up with a plan for a basic understandings of what we needed to do to make sure that the poles wouldn't have an issue. Okay, and basically what he told me was a real simple calculation of how to set a pole. And he basically said, regardless of what you have on top and what you have on, the sizing, all that, set aside the diameter of the pole, because they change for the amount of panels. But the real simple recipe, hey Shadow, was for every foot you go up, you go down a half a foot, or for every foot you go down, you go up 2 feet, one or the other, a 2-to-1 ratio. And I put a lot of pole mounts in the dirt. I've done a lot. I have never had an issue with it. So the failure, as I've since talked to a structural guy, and I talked to him about what had happened to the soil because of the amount of rain that we had. The failure was not in the engineering that was done for these mounts, or in how I put them into the ground based on the standards, the math behind the wind load based on the elevation and the depth. There was no problem there. I did it pretty good. Now, I will say this pole was a few inches shy, about, it was maybe 2.5 feet down. But there was concrete to a 3-foot level. It still pulled it out, and because that was still fresh concrete, for whatever reason, it actually cracked that. Y'all saw that. That one also didn't, well, really simply put, the ground being so wet as it was is what the issue was. And the ground, the soft clay, basically when all that pressure on it, the ground gave way. So the point is, you can engineer things, and you can go through a set of calculations and standards and do okay. But Mother Nature will throw, well, hello Mittens, you're going to be in all the videos too. They've been with me all day, running around here. And so the thing you've got to understand is you can't over-engineer things enough. You can always do more and more. You can add more and more, or make it bigger, better, stronger. But then again, there's always budget, and there's got to be a balance somewhere. And T just finished with that batch of strawberry jam. Hopefully it gels up this time. You can't get too stupid all the time. There's a level that you go to, and in civil engineering there were different standards that we engineered a lot of our stormwater management and drainage to on a regular basis, as to whether it was engineered to the 100-year flood or to the 500-year flood. And in some of you paying attention to the weather events that are going on, there are 500 and 1,000-year events that are occurring around this world. And well, we went through a really, really wet winter and spring, and this ground was sloppy, and you take those kinds of wind loads, something gave, and what gave was the dirt. So let's talk about solutions. Now, this pole mount I left the same. I actually, when we took this apart, we pulled it all out, and there was nothing but a hole in the concrete and a chunk, and there was a lot of dirt around it. I could have redone the whole thing, but I opted to make some changes. Is that nice and cool there, Mittens? She says, you're talking about it. I'm going to be right here in the middle of it. So you can see I've added some concrete around here. And what I've done is a little different technique. Basically, I've spiked the punch. What? What do you want? Little one. And so there's another technique of extending your hold into the ground. Okay. There was enough of a gap around here, the concrete that was here, that it allowed me to easily flow some concrete in, back in around it. So since the dirt got pushed away, basically I just filled that void with 2 more bags of concrete. So there's actually 4 bags. So we got more weight here. That's one thing you could do. Just make a bigger concrete block. But more in particular is this concept of spiking the punch. And let me explain what I'm talking about. Once I had it all cleaned out, everything was offloaded. There was no weight here, and I had the pole wedged up. I actually tied it to a stump over here and pulled it up because it took a lot of force to get it back in the upright position. Once I got that done, I've got a lot of scrap metal from making different projects. I got a couple of what I had available because I didn't want go buying a bunch of metal at the moment. I had a couple of 4-foot long Schedule 40 1-inch square tubing that I've used. You saw that stuff being used in the dual tooth setter that I did. So I had some 4-foot sections of it, and what I did was I took my little mini sledgehammer and I drove them all the way down at different angles. I also have a bunch of 18-inch pieces of half-inch or 5/8 rebar. So what we did was we drove some metal deep down into the ground. So not only does this go down 3 foot, but we took and drove a few of these pieces of pipe down even further. So they're down maybe as deep as 5 feet down, and so there's a big one that goes down through here, and then I've got a few pieces of rebar that go down here and out here and out here, so that we can have our fingers tied into the clay much lower and deeper than we are now, and leaving them stuck up into the void enough so that the concrete, when you pour the concrete in here, that the concrete actually grabs a hold of these pieces of steel, and it's spiked into the dirt. I did that on all 3 of my poles. This one, we went ahead and pushed it a little bit deeper. We got it down closer to the 3-foot depth, and then we have several big long spikes going way down this way and then way down this way, and a couple of little rebar ones. So getting that concrete out would be, well, you better have some heavy earth moving backhoe equipment if you're going to get them out now. And Mittens, you going to come along? And the same down here. Now this one didn't really pull the concrete out completely. Half of it stayed in there, and we ended up having to actually, I'll take it back. I'm sorry, we did pull the whole concrete out because it's sitting right there. You can see it with the hole in it over there, and we just redid it. We dug down a little bit, just a little bit deeper, so we're actually about 3.5 feet down right there, and we did the same thing on that one. So in total, the cost that I had to incur was essentially two more bags of concrete, three bags of concrete here, because we went up to 3 bags. So there's a lot of concrete in there. I think we did another 3 bags in there on that one, and then the big one, we added 2 more bags to it. So, you know, what, 8 bags at $5 a bag, there's $40. Not too bad. Now, I do want to rebuild this upper frame. It got twisted, and as you can see, these upper edges of these panels, that panel suffered a pretty good bend in the aluminum framing when it was laying on the fence right there. But I kind of bent it back. I mean, it was more. It was way bent down. That corner right there was bent way more down. But there's some racking. So eventually, I'm probably going to redo that frame. But for now, it's fine. It's fine like it is. It didn't stop its function. I mean, it works just fine. Everything's fine. It's just, you know, not as pleasing to the eye to see the nice, neat, clean lines, because there's some warpage and twistage in it. But other than that, there you go, my friends. Consider that if you're going to put a pole in. One way to extend your hole is once you get that hole dug, and it's not going to be easy to do if you're doing using a post hole digger or an auger to dig, and you've only got maybe a 12-inch diameter hole. It'll be hard for you to reach all the way down in there. The reason I could do it was because the holes opened up, and it gave me room to get down in there and actually drive some rebar and some metal further in and spike it out. So this issue is hopefully not going to happen again. But you know, Mother Nature is bigger, stronger, and crazier than we can imagine, and you know, you're not gonna engineer for everything. You know, even the pyramids, as long as they've been around, they were engineered pretty strong. They've been around for a long time, but they are slowly crumbling on the outside, so things don't last forever. And I did pretty good. Now I've done better, and if you're in a windy area, I think you might get winds like that, you may consider spiking your punch. That's all I got for this one. Let's move on to the next one. We'll catch you in the next one.